Just got the top of your head in there. Wow. How tall are you, Jordan? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Should we go smaller?
No, I thought you was taller.
Oh, did you? No.
Yeah, about 6'6".
No.
No, it sounds like I'm chatting you up anyway. October Red. I'm here with first-time guest.
Yeah.
But I'm actually happy to be joined by you because dancing is something that I used to do as well.
For real?
When I was younger,
Okay.
a very, very long time ago. Probably when you were in nappies, but welcome.
Thank you.
It's Jordan Banjo.
Yeah. What's going on, man? I'm happy to be on the channel. I'm a big fan, so it's nice to be here. Press conference time. It's exciting. Saturday's going to be good. So looking forward to it.
I know this might sound like an obvious question, but I've seen you at a few boxing events, but I never would have put you together with boxing. What is it with boxing with you, Jordan?
Do you know what it is, right? So my dad was a fighter. Yeah, my dad was a fighter, and he never let me or my older brother fight. He wouldn't have it. So we've always been big fans of the sport, right? And for me, it's like, obviously we do a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
Then we moved into like the TV presenting side. I got a radio show, and the dream job for me has always been, listen, the only sport I watch, the only sport I have any interest in is boxing. People try and talk to me about football or basketball or golf or whatever they want to talk to me about, straight in my head. I can't tell you nothing. Where boxing, I can sit down, have a real debate, and I enjoy it, right? And at the end of the day, we're all fans. You're a fan, I'm a fan. So to be here today, doing a bit of hosting with DAZN, it makes me feel excited, because it's, like I said, I've done a lot of TV presenting, I've got my radio show, but to do it on a subject that you're genuinely passionate about, it's fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
I like that. It's just the way you casually said, yeah, I've got my own radio show. But it's almost like, yeah, I get up and I brush my teeth in the morning. But no, I've got to love it. But can we go back to your dad then? So talk to us a little bit about your dad and his boxing.
So he was, he only had 18 fights. He was
18 more than me, mate.
Yeah, and me, to be fair. And do you know what? It's funny because whenever I talk to anyone who knew my dad and watched him fight, he was like, to them, he was like the second coming, right? So it was, he was so good, he was this, he was that. And to me, it's always like, because it's my dad. It's like, nah. Do you know what I mean? It's your dad, right? So you don't really think it. And then I watched a few of his fights. And I was just like really taken back by it, and to see him on like, he fought like Marvis Fraser, he fought Greg Page, like he fought some big names, and obviously it didn't work out. Like in the end, I think it just, boxing's a tough game, right? And especially back then as well, it wasn't the money that there is now. So I think it was it was a difficult one. He had my older brother, then obviously me and my little sister. I think he just chose to walk away from it. But I know there's always a part of him that when of all the things we've done, right? We won Britain's Got Talent, like I said, radio shows, TV shows, won BAFTAs, we got tours, we did all this stuff. The moment I said I was coming here and I'm doing some hosting with DAZN, his face lit up. He was buzzing because it's something he's passionate about as well. So yeah, I mean, he was a fighter. I spar him every now and then. Me and him, he's nearly 70 and we spar, and he's got quick hands, man. It's nuts. But yeah, man, I think that's more of a testament to how bad I am as opposed to how good he still is. Nearly 70 years old and beating me up. It's not a good look for me. But yeah, man, it's a little bit about my dad.
Well, one of them, you should definitely be quick on your feet. So we're going to move into dancing because that is kind of like your bread and butter. I saw you guys when you won the competition. I was one of them that sat at home and saying, wow, look at this, kind of a family affair.
Yeah.
Really doing bits for the UK. How did you fall into that?
So, funnily enough, when my dad stopped boxing, he had his own little gym set up and he turned it into a dance studio because my mum was a dancer. So then my mum started teaching all the dance classes there. And then once we got a little bit older, from when my older brother, Ash, was about 12, 13, he started teaching all the classes. He taught all of us. And then by the time he was like 18, 19, we went to Britain's Got Talent, and rest is history. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a crazy story, but yeah, that's how we're here.
I like the fact that there's one big thing here, and I can say that about boxing, it's like a community, and you can say the same about dancing. It can get very competitive with the different studios. I was ballet, tap and modern, so not exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
But talk to us about the choreography, to be able to make up the moves for the routine, because that's not something that's simple. You've got to be a really good creator.
Yeah.
Just like kind of like what we see in the ring where we have certain showmen, certain people that will stick out in your memory, not because of the knockouts, but the way they'd move in the ring.
It's funny because obviously you compare dancing to boxing there. Probably the coolest comparison I'm ever going to get in my life, because unlike with boxing, if I mess up a dance move, no one's going to drop a left hook on me and I'm going to end up on the floor. Do you know what I mean? It's not as dangerous. But yeah, no, you're right. There's a massive level of creativity that goes into it. It's a constant work in progress. Like, of course, in boxing, it's a big team effort, right? But once you're in the ring, you're on your own. You know, I know you've got your cornermen and stuff, but really and truly, it's down to you. For us, you know, it's a little bit different. We rehearse together, we perform together, we're together every day. We can really rely on each other. It's a bit of a team effort, and it's the same that goes with the choreography. Obviously, my older brother Ash, he takes the bulk of it. He does loads of it, and then we all kind of come in, put our little our input in, and just sort of make it a finished product. Which is cool, you know. We're going back out on tour again soon, which is really nice. I'm excited for that. We'll probably be back in Birmingham. We are in Birmingham for I think it's like 5 nights or something, so we're here for a while. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be doing something a little bit different.
Dancing then, would you say that it's got an age limit? Because you guys have been in the game for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you still teach? Is there like an up and coming? Are you, getting a younger dance group ready to come through under the Banjo name?
So we have got we've got Diversity Studios, right, which we opened in Essex not that long ago, which is really, really nice. It was sort of, we had our studio, which my mum had from before we won Britain's Got Talent. But then once we won, all the teaching and things, everything started to slow down because we're just always out and about with touring shows, whatever it is, right? But now we're sort of really pouring a focus into that again. And you're right, we have got like kids that, it doesn't even, same way like the way Diversity formed in general. It's not like we went, let's go out and audition and get certain people. It's just people that we've been around and grown up with, have sort of just tacked on and done this and done that. Before you know it, the team's kind of grown, which is nice. So yeah, the aim one day would be lovely to go like, yeah, in 20 years' time, there's still a Diversity performing out there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And it's kids that we've sort of brought up with us and they're still doing their thing. But, I don't know, like the amount of knee operations I've had, this and that, I've had so many things. I don't know how much longer I want to keep banging out and dancing. But at least a couple more years. I've got a while left in me.
Investment in yourself, self-belief, which is also something that is connected with boxing that we're going to touch on shortly. How important is that as an entrepreneur? Because that's what you were. You were entrepreneurs. You've ended up now with your own talk show. Like you said, you're co-hosting today with DAZN. That entrepreneur mindset to say, you know what, I'm just not going to give in.
Do you know what? 'Cause I think the funny thing is, right, I already picture it in my head.
Okay.
The worst that's going to happen today is that I mess up a little bit. There'll be someone on Twitter who goes, what's that massive geezer from Diversity doing talking about boxing? And that'll be it. And then it's my job to prove people wrong, to show why I should be here. And I think that's if you've got that self-belief, and this is very different to stepping into the ring. This is talking into a microphone about something you're passionate about and having fun with it. It's not exactly dangerous or big drama. So when you put things into perspective like that, of course people are going to be nervous doing certain things. But in a case like this, it's like, listen, go out there, have fun, believe in yourself, like you said. And it's kind of one of those things, like I said, the worst thing that's going to happen is that it doesn't go well. Next time you make sure it goes better. And that's all you can do. Do you know what I mean?
I like that approach, but we're going to get to boxing now. So who are your favourite fighters and why?
Do you know what? It's hard, right? Because I get bantered 24/7 for being an AJ fanboy, right? Like in Diversity, you got a few Fury fanboys, you got Usyk fanboys, you got Joshua fanboys.
Diversity suits it well.
Mate, Diversity suits it well. So heavyweight division, I'm always going to have to say AJ. Purely for me, so I'll tell you what it is. It's the same reason why I wanted to work with DAZN and why I like Matchroom so much. It's as opposed to what happens in the ring. For me, it's the business side of it, the commercial side of it, the way they built it up. It's just beyond impressive. Like it really is. Like you said, it's here. That's the part I find so incredible about it. Same with Fury, and so I look at Usyk, someone like that, right? And I do think it's incredible. It's a testament to him. Great personality, but the dude barely speaks English. He comes over and everyone still loves him. But that's down to his skill. There's certain fighters who are nowhere near that level in terms of, skill at the moment or achievements. But take someone like, I don't know, Johnny Fisher, for example. Great personality, good following, dad's hilarious. Built this thing around him. Before you know it, he's the one selling half the tickets at the Joshua Helenius fight. It's nuts. Like when he walked out, the atmosphere was like Joshua had came out. I was like, what's going on here? It was nuts, right? And pretty sure he was the first fight open in the main card, right? It wasn't even like up at the top of the card. So favourite fighters is hard because there's loads of people that I like purely because of what they can do, but then it's also appreciating everything that goes around it, the commercial aspect, how they built themselves, everything about them. So it's hard. It's hard.
I like that. It's kind of like a fair, balanced view. I would say the name Diversity suits you really well because you have an eloquent way of sitting on the fence and making it sound so perfect.
I won't mug anyone off. That's the aim. I'll give you an answer, but be nice.
So all right then, let's talk about performances then. Like you said, you're, Team AJ, you have been. That's your guy. Talk to us about his performance.
Against Helenius? Yeah. Do you know what? I think it's hard. I feel like people comparing old AJ to new AJ
continue?
It's a difficult one because I don't think it's a case of gun shy anymore. I just think he has an entirely different style. His style is just different. He doesn't fight the same way. Do I think he's as exciting? No. Do I think when you're worth a couple 100 million and you've got huge paychecks on the horizon, do you need to be as exciting? Are you going to sell out anyway? Yes. And I'm not saying that's the right thing from a fan's perspective, but for him and his health and moving forward and business wise, it's kind of like, if you don't need to go in there charging and trading with someone like Hellenius, and I'm not calling Hellenius, the next Wilder, but the point is, he's a top 25. He can bang. He's a huge dude. He weighs what he weighs. He can obviously punch. It's kind of like, I'm not going to say, even as an AJ fanboy, it did look like he was getting caught with certain things. I was like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting you to get caught with certain things like that. But I don't think there's many. Fury aside, you look at Wilder, right, and he's incredible at what he does. He comes in, he has these big looping shots, but I watch AJ, he's very down the middle. I like the way he was throwing that long left hook in the Hellenius fight. I don't think necessarily it was always as successful, but he had some success with it. And I think he was just patient with it. And like I said, I don't feel like it's hard to be critical of a performance where I'd go, if I was him and I had that skill level and this and that, would I do the same? Probably. I mean, he probably could have got him out there earlier. Yes. Would it have been riskier? Yes. Does he need to take the risk? No. So it's kind of like, don't get me wrong, I am also a big fan of when he was in there blasting out Brazil, Molina, Charles Martin. Of course, I want to see those nights again, but I also see it from the perspective of this guy's probably just taking his time, doing what he needs to do. He's probably got really and truly, if he faces Wilder and wins, everyone's going to want the Fury fight. I doubt he'll rematch Usyk again. And then what? He'll be 35-ish by that kind of time. Those fights get over the line. He'll probably step away. He hasn't got loads of time left in the game. So it's not like he's got stuff to prove, is what I'm saying.
Fair comment. I can't even really push back on that because what you said is, very fair. So how do you think he fares up to Wilder? You mentioned Wilder because I think Hellenius, in regards to rangy and long, was a good matchup really to go into that fight. So what do you think about his chances against Wilder?
I think Wilder's a difficult one, because I do feel like AJ's more than capable of winning the fight, of beating him. I do think that anybody who talks about it, if you talk about it either way is a sure thing, I think you're being stupid. I don't think it's 100% Wilder. I don't think it's 100% AJ. I think depending on what happens with the fight, the way I was thinking about it is, if Wilder goes in and fights Ruiz in October, which he's saying that might happen, there might be this fight, which I doubt it. But if there is a fight in between, okay, then AJ's probably going to not want to wait for another. It'll be a fight in December for AJ. Then you're talking about spring, you're talking about March, April time, and it goes back and back and back. If he goes, okay, cool, let's go straight in with AJ, that means he would have fought one round in over 2 years against Hellenius, and the last one was a beatdown. Inactivity is a big thing for fighters, and I know with Wilder, he's not like he relies massively on timing or distance or this or that. He lets go. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to paint it that black and white. There's more of an art to it than that. So surely I just don't understand it. But, he's not as reliant on activity as other fighters are because he's always got this as a backup. So who knows? Who knows how it plays out? I'd like to say, that will fare in AJ's favour because you're going to back the Brit, right? But if you base it on performances recently, the way AJ's fighting now and then Wilder, I think AJ's got a massive chance, but I would probably lean, gun to my head, £1 million, 60-40 to Wilder, even though I would love it to be AJ. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and it's nice that you can be a fan of somebody but still have an objective view of the fights, because that is what it's all about ultimately. We've got our favourites, but let's just see it for what it is. Talking about that, it's a trait of ours. You're in Birmingham, my home city. Yeah. We do say it how we see it. Yeah. So talk to us about this card, and if any fight on here, which one is that you're looking forward to? And then I'll let you get off and do your 7,000 interviews. Very
much looking forward to the rematch, Jordan Flynn and Kane Baker. That's going to be an absolute tear-up. I think it was on the Joshua Franklin card, the first fight, and they shut Blackhall Tunnel, so everyone was having murders getting in. So I got in late. I wanted to be there from the top of the card. I got in there super late. I think I caught the last couple of rounds. And you could already tell it was a war from there. And then based on everyone's reactions and the interviews, I was like, okay, cool. So when they announced the rematch, I was super excited. And of course, Galal Yafai, I'm excited to see, because this is a step up for him, Tommy Frank. But I think, as opposed to just his opponent, I think he seems like quite a cool, relaxed character. His coach is Rob McCracken, he's so laid back, he's horizontal, right? He's the most chilled out man ever. But I do think that all that being said, not will it come on top? He's fought all over the world. He's a gold medalist, but like you're in your hometown with a step up, with everybody in every interview going world title in the next 12 months, mate. World title. It's like he hasn't just got to win. When you're talking about a world title in 12 months, you've got to win and look good. And sometimes people go for it a bit too much. People aren't taking their time, not doing certain things. Like I said, I'm not a fighter. I've never stepped into the ring, but from a fan's perspective, sometimes people over egg it, trying to prove a point. It doesn't go that way. Bilal's obviously super skilled, very experienced. I reckon he's got it in the bag. I reckon it's going to be an awesome fight. But excited to see how he takes this challenge on, as opposed to just his opponent. It's just what he does in general. Very excited to see that.
We love it. What a fantastic first conversation.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to let you go, but I really enjoyed that. Everybody, it's lovely Jordan Banjo. Follow him. It's not just about dancing. It's about moving and shaking and punching. He's got his own radio show. He's going to be co-hosting on DAZN. Let's support this guy, October Red.
Thank you, man. You're a legend. Thank you so much.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.